All right, everyone, welcome back. We are last best take. Today, we're going to take on the NFC and AFC East. But before we dive into that too much, Ron, give us a little recap of some of the events that happened this week.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty busy week. The NFL annual spring league meeting just finished up in Phoenix. There was some major shift from free agent frenzy to draft preparation stuff. Owners approved several significant rule changes for this season. And the league officially announced the full schedule for the offseason workout programs for all the teams. Uh, League owners approved five rule changes this week to enhance player safety and game flow. Onside kick flexibility. Teams are now permitted to declare an onside kick at any time during the game. So that's a new rule this year. Um, Kickoff alignment. New requirements were set for the receiving team's setup zone to increase safety and encourage more returns. I'm not sure on the details on that. We'll have to look into that. I didn't look into exactly what that means, but um, officiating, consult, consultation, sorry, league personnel can now consult with on-field officials regarding disqualifications for flagrant acts or even if a foul wasn't initially called on the field.
That's
Uh, they can correction of errors. This one would probably be good for Riley if he was here. For 1 year, the NFL officiating department is allowed to correct clear and obvious mistakes by on-field officials in the event of a referee work stoppage. So that one, I guess it sounds like if someone in the studio watching the game sees that a call was obviously missed, they can overturn the call. So that one kind of will be huge. Uh, like I said, if Riley was here, he'd probably be excited about that new rule change. Being last week, he was bitching about the
you
stuff with the
probably spilled the
Steelers and
beans, and then he's so excited. That's why he's not here.
yeah. So they also announced the offseason schedules for the teams. Obviously, there's 10 teams, 10 teams with new head coaches. So generally, those are the teams that get to start their offseason programs earlier. So some of those teams include the Ravens and Falcons and Bills. Um, some of the free agency stuff,
How was that determined?
Trayvon Walker. What's that?
How's that determined?
What was that?
Like who
The
gets to practice earlier?
new head coaches,
Oh, because you have new head coaches, you get
because
to
they're new
all.
First
head
year.
coaches, they get to
Oh,
First
okay.
yeah,
year.
because they
Yeah.
got to install their all their stuff, so they get to usually start a little bit early.
There's gonna be more firings
Um,
every year. Okay.
yeah, so that is one advantage you get when you get a new head coach, I guess. But yeah,
Jets gonna
so
be
some of the
taking
free
advantage of
agency
that.
stuff. What?
The Jets gonna be taking advantage of that one.
Yeah. Um, Trayvon Walker signed an extension. What is going on? Hold on, something's going on with my computer. Did I just
No, you're good.
disappear?
You're
Okay.
good. Yep. Number one
Okay,
pick 3 years
Trayvon
ago.
Walker signed an extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a massive 4 year, $110 million, 77 million guaranteed. Uh, Another extension or signing, the Las Vegas Raiders. This one's for you, Larry. I'll see how you feel about it. Kirk Cousins signed basically a 1 year deal. I think they reported it as a 5 year deal or something like that, but it's basically a 1 year deal. Um, what'd you think of that, Larry?
He got guaranteed 170 million or something, didn't he?
Five.
I don't
The
think it
deal.
was that much.
Well, the deal's 5 year, um, $172 million,
And
I
it's
believe.
guaranteed.
I think it's only no, no, it ain't guaranteed.
Oh, it's
Like all the
guaranteed.
rest
I
of his
promise you.
deals.
Guarantee is guaranteed. The dude
No,
is
no.
his agent's going
The
in the Hall of
Falcons are
Fame.
paying. The
So
Falcons are
he
paying
gets
most of a lot of that contract
the
money
first year. I
because
think is the first year is all guaranteed, which he's the Raiders are paying. I think 3 million, something like that, and then the Falcons are paying another 8 point something. So it makes out about 1 year, $20 million, yes, guaranteed. After that, boom. The good thing with that is he also knows Clint Kubiak's system. He did work with him back in Minnesota for 3 years, I believe, from 2019 to 2021. 2019 and 20, he was the quarterback's coach, and Kirk Cousins was a Pro Bowler in 2019, and then 2021,
I went ahead and learned
he
about Pro
once
Bowls.
again was a yeah, once he had Pro Bowl,
I
and
don't know it.
then 2021 he went on to be the offensive coordinator for the Minneapolis or Minnesota Vikings, and come to find out, once again he made the Pro Bowl then. So once again, it's probably a good thing for Mendoza, considering he also isn't a underneath the center guy. So give him a little bit to work on that and more time to work on Clump Kubiak's system.
Kubiak.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing for sure. They don't have to throw Mendoza in there right away, stun his development. He can kind of sit back there when he and come in when he's ready. So I think that's actually kind of a huge deal. You got anything on that, Steven, or
No, I
should I just
mean
keep
the
going on?
Lakers or the Raiders needed to spend a shit ton of money, so that's what they. I mean, they said they were gonna sit Mendoza, so they had to go out and get somebody. So not surprised.
Yeah. So the Bengals signed Kyle Duggar also, uh, and then Stephon Gilmore announced his retirement. Uh, The other big one that happened yesterday, the Rashee Rice update. The NFL concluded its investigation into the wide receiver's recent domestic violence allegations and determined there will be no discipline action. So he will not get suspended this year. So that's pretty big for the Chiefs and for my fantasy football team if I want to keep them this year. So.
You ain't keeping him. What are you talking about? Just talking.
Yeah, so any I think that's pretty much
What about
wraps up.
Puka?
There's oh yeah, the Puka thing. Why
Puka.
did I went into rehab. Puka went into rehab after he supposedly bit a female on the shoulder and she started bleeding. So
Pennsylvania.
there's something going on with Puka.
He's pulling the Antonio Brown. Hopefully, he's got another year or two of good stuff going down. I mean,
I mean
I think he went in because he wanted to go golfing with Tiger. I mean, I don't know. I think they're both entering the
yeah,
same rehab center, and they're gonna play 18 every day for the next 6 weeks. So
yeah. I mean Puka did talk about wanting to retire early, so
yeah, golf's the way to do it.
maybe he'll force himself out. Anyways, that kind of wraps up the news that happened this week. The major news, anyways. If you guys we're doing the AFC and NFC East team breakdowns. Is there a team you guys want to start with? Should we start with the NFC?
Start with the NFC, sure. Who you want to go with?
I can go with. I've got the Commanders,
All right,
so
give her a run.
I'll start with the Commanders, and since Riley's not here, I'll do his team. I forgot which team he had, but I can look while you guys are talking about your teams. I'll look up some information on those guys. So let me pull up my notes real quick for the Commanders. So let me get there. The Washington Commanders, they were extremely aggressive in free agency. Their primarily focus was to bolster that defense. I th- they general manager Adam Peters, he prioritized getting younger and more athletic. one of the big signings was Odafe Owe. He signed $100 million deal, edge rusher, formerly of the Chargers. So he was one of the big signings, but I think the Commanders, like I said, they prioritized getting younger. I think they were one of the oldest teams in the entire league last year, and it showed. They were pretty injured all of last year. So getting younger, that I think that'll help with that. Jaden Daniels needs to stay healthy. He was banged up most of the year last year for them. So keeping him healthy will be key. Some of the rumors swirling with them, primarily their draft strategy. They have the number seventh pick in the draft, but they only have six draft picks. And so there's been rumors that suggest that they want to trade back and pick up more picks. They don't have a second rounder since they sent that to the Texans for their left tackle, Laramie Tunsil. So I think they're trying to find a trade partner, trade back, maybe get a couple seconds, and build up that team, get younger like they want to. Uh, they released Marshawn Lattimore, so they're kind of in a secondary rebuild. Well, like their secondary. Sports Illustrated noted that the team seeks length, so they're going to want guys with long arms, tall, lanky corners. Those are the type of guys that they're going for. They got a new offensive scheme. A new offense coordinator, David Blau, is expected to implement kind of a Ben Johnson led Bears offense to maximize Jaden Daniels' mobility and playmaking. Like I said, they were very active in free agency. They added 12 players and they re-signed nine. So 21 players this just in the offseason they've added already. Uh, the big one I said, Dafe Owe, he signed a 4-year, $100 million contract. He's going to come in, fix that pass rush. That was one of their weak spots last year. They could not get to the pass rusher, kind of like a lot of these bad teams. They also brought in tight end Chig Okawanu from the Titans. I'm sure I butchered that name, but he was the tight end on the Titans. He signed a 3-year, $30 million deal. That'll be big for Jaden Daniels. Zach Ertz went down with a pretty gruesome knee injury, so he probably might retire. Maybe I mean they've been talks about maybe bringing him back, but
I think he wants
like I
coming.
said, that knee injury was pretty gruesome, and he's up there in age, so I don't foresee him playing this year potentially. So getting a young tight end to come in and help Jaden Daniels, I think that's pretty big for them. Then they went and signed the Chiefs linebacker Leo Chenal to help. I don't I think they had Bobby Wagner was like the only real good linebacker they had back there. I know they have Frankie Louvu back there, but he digressed this year. So I think Leo Chenal will kind of stabilize the linebacker room. Um, I brought in a defensive lineman, Tim Suttle. I don't really know much about him, but they brought him in. They brought in a corner, Amik Robinson, formerly of the Lions. He could be a sneaky good pickup for them to replace kind of the Marshawn Lattimore more release, but he has been uh, consistently injured with the Lions, so we'll see if he can stay healthy. Another big signing, they signed safety Nick Cross. He's a really fast free safety, so having him back there will help that secondary. They brought in edge Clavon Chason from the Patriots. So, like I said, their pass rush was abysmal. So, getting two guys that were pretty good last year is definitely going to improve that defense. A big guy to help Jaden Daniels was Rashad White. They brought Rashad White in to help Jaden Daniels in that offense. Kind of gives them a number one running back, I believe. Um, they also brought in defensive end Charles Omenihu, who's kind of he's a good defensive end on first and second down, and then he's one of those guys they like to move inside and rush from the inside. So that'll be good with that pass rush also. A couple other guys, Van Jefferson, wide receiver. He's mid, so it's a speedy guy that can get open with Jaden Daniels. They also brought in running back Jerome Ford, formerly of the Browns, so he could be a solid third down back. And they brought in corner Akilo Witherspoon. So that's the main additions. Some of the key re-signings. They re-signed their left tackle Laramie Tunsil, 2 years, $60 million extension. That's huge. You need somebody to protect Jaden Daniels. Uh, if one he's banged up, that team is totally different. So getting him locked up for a couple years is good. They re-signed their backup QB Marcus Mariota, who played a lot of games this year, and he actually played pretty well. So I think that's kind of important to get him in there, especially with uh, Jaden Daniels' durability issues potentially. Having somebody that knows the offense keep the ship afloat while he's gone. They brought back their guard Chris Paul to a 1 year deal, his starting left guard. So and then they re-signed their punter. So I think they're hoping they don't have to use him too much, but if they do, he's one of the best punters. Some of the guys they lost, however, like I said, they released Marshawn Lattimore. Debo Samuel has left in free agency. He was kind of their number one target some of the year because of I'm having a brain fart of their number one wide receiver, Terry, Scary Terry. He was banged up this year a little bit. So they also released their center Tyler Biadasz, who was actually a pretty good center. So I'm not really sure why they got rid of him. Maybe it was a money deal. Uh, Austin Eckler is a free agent, so I think that's why they signed some of those other running backs. But when Eckler was healthy, he played pretty well for them. And like I said, with the linebackers, Bobby Wagner, he's pretty old, so I think they brought in a younger. They still might bring him back. I know he's pretty close to like leading the having the record for tackles. So I know he wants to get on a team. I think he's less than 100 tackles for being first in the NFL, having the NFL record for tackles. So I think he's definitely
Cleveland Browns, they're going to be
wants
on
to play
defense
again.
all the time.
Yeah, they got pretty good linebacker. So I don't know if they want to get an old guy back there, but uh, they lost two corners. I'm not even going to try to say the guy's name. Noah, I don't even know, but Jonathan Jones was the other corner that they lost, and then obviously Zach Ertz is a free agent. So and he's got that pretty horrible knee injury, so I don't know if they're going to bring him back, but there are talks that they could. Um, what else do I got? As far as how I think they're going to project in the conference, it really depends on if they can keep Jaden Daniels healthy. But currently, I have them in third place, just ahead of the Giants. Um, well, I don't know. The Giants are pretty good, actually. They're going to be third or fourth. So the Giants got a pretty good coach now. So actually, the Giants are pretty good. Yeah, they might finish last, actually, now that I think about it. So, but Jaden Daniels, that rookie
They
year,
were in
he
the
was pretty
NFC
good. So,
Championship, 2 years ago?
yeah, yeah, they definitely were. So that'll be a tough division, really. If all those guys can stay healthy, that might be a pretty good division. So,
Where did they finish
I,
last year? Fourth in their division? They had to have.
yeah,
So
I'm
they're
pretty
going to
sure
have
they
an
finished
easier
fourth.
schedule.
Yeah, they should have an easier schedule, so that will be a benefit to them. But like they're going to play the Eagles twice, the Cowboys twice, and Giants twice. I feel like that's going to be a pretty competitive division. I don't think they're going to. They might squeak into the playoffs with a third seed, depending on how that division plays out. But I don't know. The Eagles are pretty good. Dallas is pretty good. So I don't know. I, I if I had to place a bet, I'm going to say they're going to finish probably third. I think Jaden Daniels is too good. Yeah. What do you guys think on that?
It's going to be a competitive
Well,
division. Jaden Daniels' health, Scary Terry's health. those were the two biggest factors in their demise last year. Scary Terry played what, 7 games maybe last year, and he was still kind of chipping the rust away. So I mean, I like offense. If you're about big offenses, stuff like that. Defensively, they are older. They do gotta find something in that back half. They are gonna get Brandon Ayuk. No other team's gonna be stupid enough to sign Ayuk after the shit he pulled. So they'll get Ayuk. They'll have Scary Terry. They'll probably draft a secondary guy with the number 7 pick. I don't think they're going to move back from 7. I don't think anybody's going to give him a good enough deal. I think they can be right there. I mean, same thing. The Dallas has no defense. Giants are good on week 17 for you, not like defense. But other than that, like they were the worst defense in the NFL. So, uh, I mean, could be first, could be fourth. Larry, you got any?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of talk for the fourth place team. I don't see them doing much as far as maybe the seventh round or the seventh pick overall. Uh, either one's going to be from Ohio State, Downs safety, or
Sonny
Sonny
Styles.
Styles, the linebacker. Yep. So hold on.
I think they got projected Jamad McCoy or Mansour Delane in most projections. They're secondary
The,
guys.
Really,
that,
I've seen David Bailey primarily for them, but
I think I'm going off your notes, Ron. It looks like you got David Bailey on the Cowboys, but it says Mansour
uh,
Delane and the from Virginia Tech or Jamad McCoy had Tennessee defensive backs.
I'm yeah, I mean that definitely makes sense. They're talking about rebuilding their secondary, so yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so who do you got, Steven?
You gave me the Cowgirls, so let's talk a little bit of the Big D that plays no D. So those guys, their offense, Dak Prescott puts up awesome fantasy football numbers. Um, doesn't really win games. Will do a dumb mistake at the end of the game to lose it. But they kept what's his name George Pickens on the what was it, the 1 year deal. Um, I don't
Franchise
think
tagged
he
him.
what's that franchise? Yeah,
They
I,
franchise tagged him, yeah.
they're not gonna. They can't keep him. Like he's gonna want too much money. I think if George Pickens is the type of guy, once he gets a big bag, he turns into Antonio Brown and he's gonna run off the field with his shirt off. That's what former Steelers wide receivers do. So he's kind of got that crazy gene in him. Um, there's talks of Max Crosby still leaving Larry's beloved Raiders and Dallas being a spot to kind of fill that terrible defense. That is the problem in the NFC East is they don't play defense. Like I mean, the Giants were the worst in the NFL. You got the Commanders that got to make some noise. The Cowboys defense is Swiss cheese. So I mean, they're they're set up to. I think they got 2 first rounders. They got the 12 and the 20. They says they potentially going to use those guys to move up into the top 10 or top 5 and try and snag a guy like David Bailey. Um, he fits what Jerry Jones likes. I mean, he's a Texas dude. Um, that or potential successor to Dak Prescott, but there isn't one in this draft. So I think they're going to wait on that for next year. If they do, maybe they snag someone in the third round. But they were in talks with linebackers Quay Walker and N'Kobe Dean. Those guys went to Vegas. They haven't had much luck landing the linebackers that they wanted, so they're going to take a linebacker in the first round. I bet my bottom dollar that they're going defense in the first round. Um, they're still looking at Jordan Brooks from Miami, but the Dolphins don't seem to be looking to tank any more than they already have. So I mean, they restructured Dax, CD, and Tyler Smith's contracts, but those contracts are absolutely massive. So They don't have room to get Pickens back. This is the last year he'll be in that uniform, and then he's going to be someone else is going to pay him big, and he's going to go off the deep end. So, um, Cowboys, just like the other teams in the NFC East, nobody has defense, lots of offense. I think they could finish first. I think they could finish fourth. So that's all I got on those guys. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, Larry, go ahead.
Once again, like it all comes back to health. What with Dak Prescott, what the hell, Dak Prescott's health. Um, Once again, it doesn't matter because once it gets in the playoffs, he's gonna probably choke like he normally does. Don't have much faith in the team. It's going to be all clogged up at the top. Maybe them and the Eagles fighting for the top position. Um, uh, that's what I probably see. I don't have much faith in them, but once again, we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like with all these teams, but I did like that they brought back Javonte Williams for as a running back. That way they don't have to reach in the draft for somebody.
That's the best
I've
running back
seen,
they've had since Zeke. So I think it's the last time they
yeah.
maybe even won
So
a playoff game.
he played really well for them last year. So for them to get him back, that's pretty good. Um, that offense is going to be really good, but like you said, yeah, they traded for Quinnen Williams last year, and they also got Kenny Clark with the trade when they traded Micah Parsons away. But that defense, they got rid of one of their better defensive linemen. They sent away Osa Diggywoza to the 49ers. So
Well,
he was probably one of the better
number
pass
one
rushers.
pass rush defensive tackle in the NFL last year. Thank you.
Yeah, he was ranked higher than Quinnen Williams. So, um, yeah, so that I mean, their defense is Swiss cheese. They Trayvon Diggs is gone, no longer on the team. So, and their corner that was getting all the interceptions a couple years ago, he digressed a lot this season. So they're going to be struggling to fix that secondary. Um, I don't think their defense is very good. So, like, they're going to
I think
be. I think they're going
that
to finish
corner that
probably.
got all the picks was from pressure, and you don't have the pressure of a Micah Parsons anymore. It
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I do think that offense could carry them and win a couple games, shootouts type of thing. But like you guys said, it's not going to matter because they're going to choke in the playoffs like they always do. Um, I think they're probably going to finish second in the division. They do have a shot to, if that, depending on how they draft and they fix that defense, they could win the division. But I think they're going to finish second. That's all I got.
I guarantee you made Riley have the New York Ravens.
I did.
Yeah. You want to go? You want to talk about the Philly cheesesteaks, Larry? I mean Eagles.
Well, I love a good cheesesteak, so don't get me wrong there. But yeah, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. One, like you said, the big meeting, big controversy out of that was apparently Jalen Hurts. He's the big problem down there in Philadelphia. Doesn't want to do the plays called, likes to make his own play calls. Well, brought in a new offensive coordinator, Sean McMahon or Mannion from quarterbacks coach for the last 2 years from Green Bay. We'll see what he wants to do, what he could do, and if he's honestly going to listen. Um, he does come from the Shanahan LaFleur um, tree and likes to do a lot of under the center play actions. So once again, we'll see if Jalen Hurts wants to follow and actually go through with that. Plus, big thing with play actions is able to actually block. And the big thing this year is they did lose their offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutman, who's been there for the last 13 season, who has developed the persons of the or Jason Kelsey, and Jordan, the bookend corner defensive or not defensive tackles, offensive tackles for them. What are they? Lane Johnson and Jordan. I'm gonna butcher his name, Mathalda, something like that, whatever his name is. Um, Made them into the tackles they are. And then obviously they have the offensive weapons. They have the Barkley. Let's see if he can come back to his near MVP form and actually, um, you know, with the rushing. And then of course AJ Brown if he's there, along with Devontae Smith. Those two are the one of the top two duos in the in the
Who bet, man?
NFL. And then you also have to add they did add Hollywood Brown to that thing and they kept Dallas Goddard, signed him. So as far as offensively, we'll see how the offensive line. That's my biggest question with those guys. Defense. Well, hold on. Let me get
Get a little sip. Wet the whistle.
little whistle wetter. Yeah. Well, as we talked about, and I think it was my first podcast, your guys' second one overall, the winners and losers with the Eagles on their defense. Lost people at crucial people at all three levels. Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher, went to Carolina. They also N'Kobe Dean went to the Raiders, who he filled the middle of that thing. And then Blankenship, the safety, went on to Houston. So big holes to fill there. They do have a good solid defense of line, anchored by them dogs. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And then of course the middle, they got Zach Bond. Let's see if he can return to his form of 2024. And then also with the big holes to fill with N'Kobe Dean gone, they got Jahad Campbell and this might sound familiar for Eagles fans, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. In that middle. And then, of course, defensive backs. They have Cooper DeJean and Quinn Mitchell. But they also did add a Super Bowl champion, Reek Wooden from the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll have to see. As far as defense, they kind of did fill a little bit of holes. That middle and the linebacker is going to be interesting. And then as far as draft picks, they do have, I believe it's the 23rd one. Kind of looking at maybe that Keldrick Falk from Auburn, the edge rusher, to go on. So yeah, we'll have to see. I do believe they'll be in the top one or two positions fighting, because they're always been there the last couple of years. So we'll have to see how they go. How about you?
My thinking is like I'll say it again, like I've said it on a couple of the other podcasts. You lose your center, your offense is a whole different game. So since Kelsey's left, different game. You lose an offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. Look at what he did with the Saints. Different game. So if they can write their offense, they have the tools. If they can keep AJ Brown, dude's a badass. Saquon Barkley, I don't even need to talk on him. One of the best in the game, maybe one of the best ever. I mean, yeah. We knew this about Hurts. Like he switched from Alabama to Oklahoma. Like the dude has a mind of his own. I believe it's the fourth offensive coordinator in 4 years. So we'll see how that kind of works out for him. Fifth or sixth? Okay, so I mean,
Yeah.
that to me that's going to be the telltale sign. I think their defense is going to be good. I mean, Georgia's always got good defense. They do a great job in the draft. So if they got some draft picks, they'll do a great job. They do one of the best in the NFL when it comes to that particular 3-day deal. So I don't think AJ Brown's going to be there anymore. So I think he's on his way out. Where I don't know, maybe New England. But I don't think he'll be there. I think he's read enough books on the sideline that he's over it and he's gone. So you got Saquon, he's getting up there. It does look like they signed a couple of, I don't know who the hell they are, running backs, but they signed a couple of those guys. So they they signed the Red Rocket. So I mean, there you go. Jalen Hurts goes down. You got the Red Rocket to throw in there. So um, I
They
think
traded for him.
they traded for him. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think these guys have potential to be a top five NFC team, but I also could see them finishing fourth place if Jalen doesn't have the greatest season. I think if this guy is from the Shanahan tree, with Jalen being mobile, being under center, I think the play action game is going to help Jalen. He's got great legs. He can run the ball well. So the play action game will help him, especially with skinny Batman. So these guys could be first. They could be fourth. Like I said, it's probably going to be the theme of the NFC East. So, Ron, what do you got?
Yeah. This team is full of drama always. It seems like they've
Dom,
always
Big
got
Dom.
something. Yeah. There's always something with this team. As far as like AJ Brown getting traded, I feel like he's going to get traded. Obviously, they can't do it right now because if they do it right now, it's a $40 million cap hit. So they're not going to do it right now. They got to wait till after the draft, June 1st. After June 1st, when they trade him, it'll go down to a $20 million cap hit. So I feel like he's on his way out. I think they've pretty much already said it. So finding a guy to replace him. I think they might do that early in the draft. Um, but yeah, I think he's out. Then there's talks of, you guys said Jalen Hurts doesn't get along with his coach. Like, that's dysfunction. Like, when your head coach and your quarterback aren't on the same page, that's a recipe for disaster. So these guys could be anywhere ranked this season. Like but records show that like every other year they're in the Super Bowl the last 4 years. So they lose their first game in the playoffs, the next year they're in the Super Bowl. It's been like that the last 4 years. So at this rate, it they could potentially be in the Super Bowl if history repeats itself. But I don't really see that happening. These guys are head cases. You got Jalen Carter, who they've talked about wanting to trade also, he got he spit on Dak Prescott before first play of defense, and he didn't even play in the game. Like these guys, that's just how that team's built. They got these
I blame
dogs,
Dom.
um, and like they play that's just their mentality, and like when it's on, they're on. Like they're really freaking tough to beat. They're a great team, but like if you jump on them early, they'll quit. So that's why like I do think they're going to be really good this year. Still, if Jalen Hurts can get his crap together with whatever he's got going on with the, either the coach or the GM, whatever it is, if they can find a good place and settle whatever they've got, they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to win the division. But like I said, if you jump down their throats early, like you go down, you score twice, this team quits. So it could be a year like that,
You're just
maybe.
trying to piss Tim off, aren't
But
you?
I do think they're going to. Well, I mean, it's true. Uh, I
Well,
mean, it's true. So,
I
like,
mean,
One thing,
he can jump on
go
the
ahead, Larry.
if I piss him off, he can come on the show. We can talk about it.
one interesting signing for agent signing they did is Elijah Moore, which was AJ Brown's college roommate who helped him through his
Yeah, I did see
mental
that.
illness. So that'll be an interesting signing whether it does help the Eagles.
He's got new books
Keep
for him to
AJ
read on the
Brown or help
sidelines.
him. Hey,
Yeah,
you didn't actually see what was in those books, actually.
That's
So
true.
never know. Never judge a book by the.
I saw Friday Night Lights. I know that dude wasn't reading no book or wasn't reading
yeah.
no playbook. So huh,
Damn, Michigan is kicking their ass, man.
yeah, Ron makes us do this
It's
during
crazy.
the true national championship. Um, should we move on?
Yeah, so were to the New York Ravens, right?
The New York Ravens.
I mean Giants. Um, so they've undergone significant overhaul. They brought in John Harbaugh, replacing Brian Dable, um, largely defined as a Baltimore to New York pipeline. Uh, as of April 4th, the team has focused primarily on physical veterans and special teams to support Jackson Dart. New York has has been aggressive in bringing in established starters, formerly of Harbaugh players. So they brought in Isaiah Likely, the tight end. He's the biggest offensive addition. He signed a 3-year, $40 million deal. He'll be the primary target alongside Malik Neighbors. Uh, that's a big deal for them. They did have who was the guy that they drafted last year that was played pretty well out of Penn State. He was pretty good, but I think Isaiah Likely is going to be an upgrade. Um,
Penn State.
they also
I
brought
think you're thinking of the
who was it?
the other New York team. Is it Mason Taylor? Is that who you're thinking of?
No, I was think this guy came from Penn State. Mason Taylor was at some
Oh,
Florida.
shoot,
Well, no,
Tyler Warren, but he went to the
Oh, I know who
Colts.
you're talking about. Yeah,
That
no, the Jackson Dart's boy. Yeah, I know who.
yeah,
Uh,
it's yeah. I can't think of what it is. Johnson, Theo Johnson.
Theo Johnson. Yep.
That's who it was. It was like his primary red zone
Yeah.
target last year. So Isaiah Likely's better.
Tight
So
end
that'll
props.
be an improvement. You got yeah, you got a young quarterback, tight end's best friend. So to get a young guy they can develop on this team. Um, they also went and signed Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker, who was released from the Bears. He signed a 3-year, $36 million contract to serve as the new quarterback of the defense. So that defense is really good, except for the linebackers. So to get a guy that's pretty established there is going to improve that
They were terrible
defense
until
where they
fantasy
struggled
football
primarily
championship game. I
last
don't
year.
want to hear shit.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, they could get the sacks. Their problem was they couldn't defend the run.
Yeah.
You were playing the Giants, you want to play the running back last year that they were playing against because they could not stop the run. I don't know how because they have big Dexter Lawrence there and those pass rushers, but they could not stop the run last year. So for them to get this linebacker, that'll improve the run defense quite a bit. Um, they brought in wide receiver Darnell Mooney. He'll kind of be a second, third string wide receiver alongside Malik Neighbors, so that'll be good for Jackson Dart. Get an established veteran in that room who's been pretty well. He played pretty good with the Falcons last year. Then they went and signed corner Greg Newsome the second. He played pretty well. He's a low risk bounce back candidate. Signed a 1-year, $8 million deal. Um, and then they did sign fullback Patrick Ricard. So, like you guys said, they'll be eating crayons in that backfield between Ricard and Scadaboo. So that'll be a pretty good 1-2 punch there.
Watch out,
Physical,
drywall.
yeah. Some of the guys they lost, however, they released Bobby Ray, something like that. He was the defensive captain last year, but like I said, that run defense was not good, so he struggled. So they upgraded there.
Because they lost the
Um,
number one pick with
Wandell
that fantasy
Robinson,
championship. So he was gone. Get rid of that dude.
yeah, you're really butthurt about
Oh,
that
I'm so
defense.
pissed your defense won the championship for you.
You're bringing it up in every episode.
Every episode.
Hey, that's the key. When you get a defense in fantasy, you just get a team that can get a lot of sacks. That's all you need. Sacks or interceptions. So that's what I was going for, and they did that
turnovers.
because they had three good guys. Anyways, they continue on. Wandale Robinson left and went to the Tennessee Titans. He followed Dable down there, so they released their kicker. Uh, they, I think they kind of like were releasing him and re-signing him throughout the year. It was kind of weird. I think he was health related things, but from what I remember, I think there was something weird going on with them. So maybe they were just had enough and released him.
I heard he was
Um,
sleeping with Dayball's wife.
very well could have been. Uh, Actually, I think I did hear a rumor like that. Actually, now that
I
you
was
say
just
that, I think I
kidding,
did hear
but
a rumor like that.
whatever.
I heard something about Dable's wife. I don't know if it was the kicker, but um,
I hope it wasn't the kicker.
yeah. So Riley obviously didn't want to talk about these, come up on the show and talk about these guys because he's butthurt that all these Ravens went over there. And the coach, I know he said he didn't like the coach, but John Harbaugh was pretty good. So he's going to stabilize that team. I think they're going to improve from last year. I mean, Jackson Dart's going to develop. I did like him as a fantasy quarterback, but they need to keep him healthy, not let him run like as much as he did last year. Um, I think they're probably going to
No,
finish last in the division still, uh, unless that defense can. They'll be either fourth or third. I don't think Jackson Dart's quite developed enough to have them compete and get into the playoffs, but you never know. Maybe they get him a better coach. Uh, he could improve. Um, they do have Scadaboo, who's hurt right now. He's recovering. So is Malik Neighbors. So some of their offensive key players are coming back from injury, but we'll see how they mesh with Jackson Dart. I do think they're going to finish probably third or fourth, probably fourth. I think Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback, and I think that's where the Commanders will probably overtake the Giants, even though the Giants have a pretty elite defense, as Steven has said in every episode.
every episode, baby. It will continue on every time we talk about these dumbass things. So, my opinion is like I have a higher opinion on Jackson Dart. I think the dude is more polished than you think. I think it's that dog shit defense that you had mentioned that is the problem. Um, they won more games with Jackson Dart. They when Jameis was in there, Wandale Robinson had amazing games, but they didn't win football games. So uh, Jackson Dart is, I mean, he's young, he's crazy. He's buddies with the Pran Eaters. So, I mean, he's going to go and hit his head. He's going to play wild. He's going to, as he plays this game longer, he'll get more experience. He'll run out of bounds more. He'll maybe take a slide here and there. I think they just come in the NFL and they just want to get a taste. I mean, sometimes a big pop will wake one of those guys up. Baker Mayfield loves to get the shit knocked out of him, and then it wakes him up. So if you don't knock the shit out of him, he'll play dog shit the whole game. So that's the type of guy some of those quarterbacks are. I mean, I think you're forgetting about one of the top five wide receivers in the NFL. That guy's coming back this year. Malik Neighbors will be back. He's going to help that offense. I mean, you got Isaiah Likely, take some of that pressure off him. They're tied to a wide receiver with the number 5 pick. I don't think they're doing that. They're going. John Harbaugh is going defense. It's going to be Sonny Styles. It's going to be Ohio State. It's going to be Sonny Styles, or it's going to be the Downs man. He's high for a safety, but he is exactly what Ravens, when their defense is good, looks like. So, I think these
He
guys, like I
kind of
said,
fills that Kyle Hamilton role.
yeah, he's like that is his comparable.
Yeah,
Darius Slayton's still there, but I mean he's gone. They're talking about trading Kayvon Thibodeau. If they trade him, it opens up some cap room. Biggest thing as an Oregon fan is this guy takes plays off, and that's part of the reason why their defense is terrible. This guy's talented as anybody, but he's only going to play one out of every 3 plays, so that doesn't help in the NFL. I think these guys can win the division. Like I think they can. I've heard at number 5 they take Jeremiah Love, who is, if you watch Jeremiah Love at all, that dude is a freak. So I mean, teaming him up and then having Scattaboo down there on the goal line, kind of like the Detroit Lions have done with Montgomery. Uh, I don't know. I think they could do something with that. So uh, if they can fix that defense to
If
play more like they
if
did in
they
Week
did that,
16, they'll be good.
if they did that, if they did that, there'd be a lot of holes of drywall that they'd have to patch with Scattaboo, either putting his head through it or punching a hole in it,
Oh
just
yeah,
because he'd be
no. I
frustrated.
mean,
But
if skills trade men out there, if this happens, book your tickets and get out there. It's football season. Larry, what do you got? What do you think of these guys?
Um, yeah, you guys have covered it. Great offense. If the weapons show up, if they're healthy, when they get healthy. Same thing with the defense. We've all mentioned the defensive line full of studs down there next to Lawrence, Thibodeau, Brian Burns. So all those people down there don't have much as far as, like you said, linebackers or on the back end. So um, I'm going to keep it short to just keep it moving. But yeah, I mean, like you said, with John Harbaugh leading the way and everybody being healthy, showing up on time, they could be, 2, 3, kind of go from there. If they could also be in, and number 4 matters how Jackson Dart shows up. So
All right.
all
Should we
right,
move on to the worst division in football?
yeah,
The
for sure.
AFC least.
Should we start with the best team since that
Oh
was
God,
Riley's
I don't
team? I
know. I
can do
mean,
that.
is there a good team in that division? They don't win any playoff games. Buffalo won.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
they
go.
have the
Is
best
it, you got
quarterback.
Buffalo? If you got
Yeah,
Buffalo,
I can do Buffalo. I had Riley doing them, but obviously he doesn't like losing to Buffalo in the
yeah,
playoffs, so he doesn't
that's
want to talk
you.
about them.
You
So
gave him. No wonder he's not here.
yeah,
Your fault.
I gave him two teams that he's probably not happy about. So uh the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills underwent significant transition in the 2026 offseason, highlighted by a head coaching change, a major trade for a star wide receiver, and a complete overhaul of their secondary. Uh, Following the firing of Sean McDermott, former offensive coordinator Joe Brady was promoted to head coach, and the team is expected to shift to more of a 3-4 defensive scheme under the new coordinator Jim Leonard. Um, some of the free agent additions and subtractions. We'll go with the additions. They traded for DJ Moore. They sent a second round pick to the Bears to acquire DJ Moore. That gives them finally gives Josh Allen finally a legit one wide receiver.
He had
Um,
Diggs.
yeah, but Diggs was a head case. I don't even want. We don't even talk about Diggs. DJ Moore, he's a rat guy, so he can run pretty much all the routes and he can kind of stretch the field for him. So he can pretty much do everything that they need. Um, Pretty good wide receiver. I don't think they're going to be done fixing that room. I could see them potentially taking a wide receiver with their first pick this in the draft this year. Um, they did sign defensive end Bradley Chubb. Uh, I think that's a pretty good pickup. They lost AJ Espinoza Nessa to free agency, who signed with the Browns and then got cut by the Browns for failing a physical, kind of like what the Ravens did with the Max Crosby situation. But regardless, they did sign Bradley Chubb. Um, he's an upgrade, I believe. They re-signed their center Connor McGovern. They brought in safety CJ Gardner Johnson, who I feel is a pretty good player. I know there's been issues with him when he's on a defense that or a team that doesn't play very good. He can kind of be a problem in the locker room, but when he's on the field, he is a hell of a playmaker. So for them to bring him in, I think that kind of upgrades their secondary a little bit. Um, They also signed safety Geno Stone. So, like I said, they got two new safeties. Uh, I think that'll improve. They signed corner D Alford. Uh, I think he's more of a slot guy. He played in Atlanta last year. I think he's more of a slot got type of corner. Um, they signed Lloyd Cushenberry the third to a 1 year deal, and they re-signed QB Kyle Allen. Um, some of the guys they lost Terrion Johnson. He went over to Larry's team, the Raiders. Um, they lost David Edwards, who's a pretty good left guard. He went to the Saints. Their backup QB last year, Mitch Trubisky, he went and signed with the Tennessee Titans. And like I said, AJ Espinoza, he left. He is a free agent. Curtis Samuel, they released him. Their safety, Taylor Rapp, he was also released. They released Dane Jackson, corner, and their fullback, Reggie Gillum, signed with the Patriots. So some other moves, Damar Hamlin, he returned on a 1 year deal. They brought him back from the dead, free agency. Too soon?
No, he won me a championship. If you look behind that trophy, actually my name's on it because of him with
Yeah,
the
that's the
asterisk.
only reason.
What are we
That's the
talking
only
about?
reason.
You won a defense with a you won a championship because of defense? I probably
He won
drafted
a
before you.
champion.
Oh,
He won a
God damn.
championship because he was winning in the playoffs when that game ended because the Damar Hamlin thing. So that's the
Oh,
only reason he's got his name on the trophy.
I think
The
it's
other
because
year was when you
the guy drafted it for him.
yeah, the other year was when you drafted it for him. So that's the only reason he
Oh.
has his name on the trophy.
Steve, how many years have you been doing this and drafted your own team? It's all
I
about who you can play, obviously. Who
I don't
puts
want
it
to
in?
hear it, Larry.
I'm saying I draft my own teams and I'm on that trophy twice too, Larry, without any asterisks. Just saying.
He's also the commissioner, so there's a lot of asterisks.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, you guys always throw out the commissioner bullshit. All right, I'm going to continue so we can get this over with. They re-signed Dawson Knox and they re-signed their kicker Tyler Bass. He actually agreed to a restructure. Um, some of the rumors they have, some of the they're picking number 26 overall. Rumors suggest that they will be eyeing a front seven defender or an inside linebacker. The most frequently linked players in mock drafts are edge from Clemson, TJ Parker, and linebacker from Georgia, CJ Allen. So there's that. They leaked images on Instagram suggesting that they might get alternative jerseys, nickel colored alternative jerseys and silver helmets
Ain't no one give a shit about
with
their.
opening of the opening
I
of
want
their
to
new
hear more about
stadium
their
this summer.
tailgate stuff there in their jerseys.
Yeah, they like jumping. Well, jumping through the tables. You know, is that what you're talking about? Uh, no, that's pretty much all the rumors for them. I think they're going to win the division. This division is ass, to put it nicely.
I
You got the Jets who are trying to march for Arch. You got the Dolphins who are doing the same thing. They've pretty much anyone that was good on the Dolphins is gone, except for not Damar Hamlin. Well, except for Devon Achan, which they're in
like
talks of
two and
trading
got
him. So
CTE.
yeah, so I think they're going to win the division. It's a weak division. They have the best quarterback, Josh Allen. They're going to win it.
They got a second place schedule. I think the biggest problem with these guys is
And the Patriots had a soft schedule last year, so that's the reason they won. They had one of the easiest schedules last year, so I don't
I'll
think
be
they're
taking my
gonna
thunder.
repeat.
They
Is that who you had? Was the Patriots?
oh yeah, you gave me those clowns. But I think the Bills' biggest problem is their GM, their head coach. They promoted because he's a puppet. I mean, their GM's an idiot. Like, he was like, oh yeah, I made a mistake drafting this Keon Coleman, and then they still had him on the damn team. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Like these guys don't know what they're doing. Uh, the notes you put on here have them linked to another wide receiver at 26 if they stay, if they don't trade back because of the DJ Moore trade. The other thing it says on here is Miles Garrett rumors. There's no way they're getting Miles Garrett. Um, they just can't happen. They're you got Josh Allen, dude's a freak. They got I think DJ Moore is gonna be huge for him. Booby Miles, the dude can run, he can pass, he can throw, he can fill your water bottles. Uh, he's gonna be a big help for Josh Allen. I mean, Josh is gonna scramble around. DJ's gonna find himself get open. He's gonna take a little bit of pressure off the edges. So DJ is gonna be a good help for that offense. I think it's gonna help Cook. I mean, they still got Cook, so leading rusher. I don't even know how many touchdowns off the top of my head that guy's had over the last couple of years. Um, they do need some help at linebacker. I think they'll probably go linebacker at 26. I mean, their GM's an idiot, so maybe they will go another wide receiver at 26. But they will probably win this division because it is by far the worst in the NFL. Last year, it'll be the worst in the NFL this year. I don't care that the Patriots went the Super Bowl. Um, this is a bad division. So that is all I got on those guys. Larry, what are your thoughts?
I'll make it quick. Ditto. They'll win the division just because of Josh Allen. I think as far as their back end, they did lose a lot of pieces, especially their nickelback Johnson, who happened to go to the Raiders, who was one of the top five as far as nickelback goes. Um, but we'll have
What's
to
your
see.
favorite
Sounds
album?
like
You like Nickelback?
what's that? No.
Hey, don't disrespect Nickelback.
Oh, look at I don't have a photograph, so you're lucky. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Josh Allen. I mean, obviously he's a stud. Um, we'll see if they put the run game more than they did last year with Cook. Obviously, he's a stud as well. Um, but I think they'll lead the division. Who they'll go with as far as draft picks, I think they need to go with that back end. So maybe one of the end of the either a safety or one of the defensive backs they've got. So I guess we'll go from there. Do we want to? What's next?
Should we go to the
Steven, who'd you get?
Patriots? Do New
Oh,
England? All right. Well, I got to see Boston this October, so that's why Ron gave me the New England, I think. But these guys were obviously they were in the Super Bowl, beneficiaries of getting to play the Jets twice and the Dolphins twice a year, and then having a fourth place. I think they were fourth place the previous year, so having a fourth place schedule. I do like their head coach, Mike Vrabel. I think he brings a toughness. Drake May is projected in. I was listening to a fantasy football podcast earlier today. Is even in the number three quarterback. Um, he does run the ball quite a bit. I don't think he has the receiver targets that I know of. Maybe they'll get something in the draft. Um, Maybe they'll get AJ Brown. That'll help. But I mean, they're going to play a tougher schedule instead of playing a fourth place schedule. They're going to play a first place schedule, so they'll have tougher road this year. They'll probably still make a wild card just because of how bad the division is. Um, Says reports are eyeing that they're looking to move up in the first round, and maybe secure another offensive tackle. I know they got that tackle last year. He was good, but he also played very bad when he played against people that were better than him. So
Will Alligator Arms Campbell?
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, so tight end. It says they have a tight end need. Um, like making it a likely early target, like Kenyon Sadiq. Maybe that's an option. I don't know where exactly their pick is. Um, at the thing. Um, Christian Gonzalez, an Oregon guy, one of the best corners in the NFL. They're working towards a extension. That helps. He takes away half the field through the air for them, takes away the best receiver, but he's more of like a zone guy. Um, Ramondre Stevenson, I felt like coming into last year was going to have a big year. Having Vrabel come from the Derrick Henry, that's what he likes. So I liked Ramondre. They have Trevion Henderson, who is explosive as anybody. I don't know that New England's a great fit for him. I think other teams he would be amazing. I think he's going to be another supplemental guy. I don't think he fits the style, so I was a little bit surprised at the pick. With that. I mean, if they get AJ Brown, they have a chance to win the division. Other than that, I think they're getting second place. I think they sneak in the playoffs. So, um, AFC just isn't that good, and they're in a bad division. So, um, that's my thoughts. What do you guys think?
So you threw some shade at Travion Henderson.
I didn't throw
You
shade at
said
him.
that you
I
don't
think he's
think
in a bad situation for him.
is it a bad situation because they still have the offensive coordinator. Who's the offense coordinator? He's with the Patriots for a long time. Isn't
Josh
that who their offense?
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels. Who did he have that was really good? James White.
Who?
Guys like that. Doesn't he kind of do the same things as what James White does?
What did you,
I
how
think
long
it's a
was James
perfect
White
system
relevant?
for him. How long was he relevant? Well, they also had Danny Woodhead, and they had all these receiving guys, receiving backs. That's what that's what he does.
I guess we'll
I think
see.
it's a
I
good
mean, I
situation
think it's
for him.
still Ramondre's backfield.
Yeah, I don't disagree. He's definitely the one guy, but he doesn't catch the
But
ball. And
that's where like they threw him the ball though. That's where like the difference between like say the Woodheads and the James Whites, they didn't have Ramondre. They didn't have another guy that started in front of them. So that's the big difference between them. I think Trevion's talented as any running back out there. Like he's the only guy that I've done in the last 3 years that I put money on for rookie of the year. So, but I just don't think it's a good situation for him.
yeah, well, I think you summed it up pretty well for them. They had the easiest schedule last year, so for them to be in the Super Bowl, yeah, it's tough to be in the Super Bowl, but I can see them falling off kind of like what the Commanders did. The Commanders went in, had a really good year. They made it the NFC Championship, and they fell off. I I think that is a very good possibility for the Patriots. However, this is the worst division in football, so they will finish second.
I mean, one receiver I got to forgot to
I
mention
don't
that's
really have
getting a lot
much
of
else to
talk,
say.
Romeo Dobbs, but I don't have
Oh
a
yeah,
big opinion on him. So I think he'll.
He didn't do
yeah.
much.
I'm
Let's
not
say he didn't
impressed
do
by
much
Packers.
in Green Bay when he was there. Yeah. Yeah, they beneficiaries of a weak division, weak schedule. We'll see how it goes this year. Mike Vrabel's always been a great coach. Josh McDaniels, great offensive coordinator. So they've always got that to lean on.
I mean, they did get
But yeah,
Kevin
they'll be in
Byard
the
too.
second.
I forgot to mention that Kevin Byard and then Elijah Vera Tucker is going to help that old line. So they did get those two pieces as well that I think will help them a little bit. But
I mean, they lost a couple defensive ends. Clavon Chase I think was a big player for them on their defense last year. He played pretty well in the playoffs, so I think that's pretty big too. I do like the players that they added, but I don't think I think they're going to fall off. Drake May's a really good QB. I like their coach, but they're going to fall off. But falling off in that division is second place. It's probably still going to make the playoffs. So, you got anything else, Larry?
Nope, that's it. And if we want to move on to the old Miami, I'll make it extremely quick with that one as well.
there's something to talk about with
Yeah,
those
go
guys.
ahead.
Oh.
Pretty much. Well, yes, exactly. Um, let's see. Let's see. According to my notes, well, let me go through the lineup first to see if anybody really, besides the first two, quarterback Malik Willis, Devon Acham. Now the wide receivers, Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, tight end Greg Dolich, tackle Patrick Paul, left tackle Jonah. I'm not even gonna say whatever. Savannah Nenehu, center Aaron Brewer, right guard Jeremiah Sailor, Austin Jackson, right tackle. Chop Johnson, okay, from Pittsburgh or from Penn State last year, maybe. Jordan Phillips, Olds, Zach Zeeler, Joshua Uke, something like that. One of their additions this year. Jordan Brooks, Terrell Dotson, Willie Gay Jr., uh, Daryl Baker Jr., Devontae Trey Jr., Lonnie Johnson Jr., Alex Austin, and Jason Marshall Jr. That is their projected lineup for the 2026 thing on. As far as moving on from, of course, Tua going to Atlanta, Tariq Hill release, Jalen Waddle being a release for the 30th first round pick this year. They did add, like I said, Malik Willis, 3 year, 67 .5 million. Tutu Atwell and Jalen Tolbert as far as wide receivers to replace those other guys. Their offensive line last year was ranked 29th out of 32. Didn't do much to do anything with that. So, and then as far as defense, I told you about the two guys they did add, and they did release Steve Count, put it on it, or no, Ron talked about it. Bradley Chubb going on to the Buffalo Bills, and then Malik Fitzpatrick, he went traded to the Jets. So yeah, they're going to be probably last in the division. Going on for the Archie Manning, Devontae Moore,
You're telling
whoever
me
is
that
the
these
quarterback
guys are
next
going
year.
to lose to the Jets? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, yes, because their projected draft picks are going to be once again like maybe that homegrown Francis Magahu or whatever from Miami, the tackle, or maybe the Cornell Tate from Ohio State, or the Arizona State. What is it, Jordan Tyson? Um, with the 11th pick and then the 30th pick, depends on where they go. Wide receiver, or tackle in the first one with the 30th pick, maybe a defensive back out of Clemson, Terrell, or out of Tennessee, Hood. If they don't get a wide receiver, they can always go that Denzel Boston out of Washington with the 30th pick. But regardless, they'll be in the very end of the fighting for the first draft pick next year. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm going
these
to
guys are
focus.
definitely going to be swimming for the number one pick. The Dolphins are going to be swimming for the number one pick. So, um, this is the worst roster on paper by far. They're going to be the worst team in the NFL. I know they brought Malik Willis, but uh, he's a bridge guy. I'm pretty sure. So, he probably will be better than Tua, but with no weapons, it ain't gonna be much better. You know what I mean? So like these guys are gonna finish last. I think when you have their best defensive player last year, or in the secondary, was a guy named Storm Duck. So I think that's where they're gonna go in the draft this year. They got a defensive minded head coach. You don't want your best player in the back secondary, Storm Duck. You don't want him. You don't want that guy to be your best player in the secondary. So I think they're probably going to get one of the best corners, if I had to guess. Maybe one of the safeties, Dylan Thieneman. He's a beast. So, um, being a defensive minded head coach, I think that's where they're going to go. We don't need to say anything about their free agents. They're all focused on the draft and the number one pick next year. So they're going to finish last. They're going to be the worst team in the league.
I'm gonna flip the script on you guys. I was playing pop. These guys are gonna be amazing. Like, do you guys know who the number one pick at quarterback was talked about a couple of years ago? It was Malik Willis. The dude's got legs, and he's gonna need to use them to run. They got Devin Achan, or maybe it's Etn. I don't know. Maybe we've been saying his name wrong. Dude's a top five running back. They're tied to guys like Malachi Lemon with the in the draft, a couple wide receivers. Maybe getting rid of the receiver to Denver opened him up to get a couple of these guys. Like, imagine this: Makai Lemon, the guy that's been tied to like eating bath salts or smoking bath salts or whatever his crazy shit was doing at the draft, coming down to Miami, you know, and meeting Tony Montana. I'm just kidding. These guys are gonna be terrible. Malik Willis never threw over like 30 passes in a game on with the Packers. Sure, he won with handing the ball off to Josh Jacobs. Like, they're tanking to play to get a QB next year. So I mean, they're not going to lose to the Jets. I think it's going to be Jets number one pick. I think it's going to be the Dolphins number two. So I just can't see it. The Jets find a way to fuck it up every year. So should we move on to
Don't you think
Where's the
Gino's
Jaden from
better?
Mendoza?
who? Gino, I've already heard
I
that
said,
Gino's taking the Jets to the promised land. That's the number one pick, guys.
yeah. I think he's better than Malik though.
They're going
Anyways, do
to
you want
the
me to talk about
promised
the
land. Look at what
Jets?
he did for the Raiders.
Yeah, he got him the number
That's
one
why
pick, and
they
that's
traded
exactly
for him.
what they want.
That's why they didn't pick him up after he got released. That's why they traded for him. That way they could guarantee that
We
first
saving the best for
draft
last then?
pick.
Is that what we're doing?
Oh, can I get Jets? Jets,
It's
Jets.
Jets,
Go ahead,
baby.
Ron.
Hey,
They're
Vital up
terrible.
on here. Go Jets.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So you want me to get into it?
I guess.
Please don't
So
take
these
long.
guys
I've
will
got
be,
things to do on these guys. So
yeah. So these guys will be fighting for the number one pick. It'll be between the Dolphins and the Jets. We'll see. They underwent significant roster overhaul. They traded away Quinn Williams, so uh they traded away Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner last year at the trade deadline. So they acquired a first round pick this year and an additional first round and additional second round pick. So they have a lot of draft capital. So that's kind of primarily their focus. I said when we did the winners and losers of free agency, these guys were ass and that they were going to be competing for the number one pick, and nothing has changed. Trading for Geno Smith even verifies that even more. I mean, the Raiders, he was the quarterback for the Raiders, and the Raiders have the number one pick this year. So for them to trade for him, it pretty
Promise
much
land.
verifies that they want to suck. They got rid of two of their best defensive players last year. They are not going to be good. Uh, Head coach Aaron Glenn has prioritized rebuilding the defense and addressing the quarterback position. They traded away Justin Fields, who he might have been the worst quarterback last year. There were times where he couldn't even complete a pass. So Geno Smith might actually be an upgrade for fantasy purposes, primarily,
Geno
like Garrett
Smith is the
Wilson.
best
He
QB
might be
they've
able to.
had since Geno Smith.
That's true. So yeah, their news is primarily based on the draft. Rumors strongly suggest that they're going to draft Arvell Reese with the second pick. Other candidates, maybe they go Ruben Bain or David Bailey. We'll see who Aaron Glenn wants to bring in since they traded away their defensive end and gave them to the Tennessee Titans also. So they gave away three key pieces on that defense. So obviously Aaron Glenn has a plan to fix it. Uh, I don't. We'll see how
The
that plays out, I
2027 draft.
suppose. Like I said, they have a lot of draft capital, so there's a lot of talks of them trading back into the first round to maybe get Ty Simpson. So that's an option for them.
Don't they have the two and the
Uh,
16?
if that's what they want to do, we'll see. I kind of still think that they want to just get a bunch of quality players in and build around the QB they're going to draft next year. So that's what I would do if I were the Jets because they are shit. But we'll see what they decide to do. So like I said, they added Geno Smith. They traded for Mika Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins. So like I said, the Dolphins that was another player that departed from the Dolphins I didn't mention. He came over to the Jets. I don't know. So there's that. He was probably one of their better players for the Dolphins. I know he's kind of been on a downhill slide the last few years. He's not quite playing at the level he's known as. They did sign Dane Belton, and one of the sneaky good signings, probably one of the best signings they did, like all the teams this offseason, was they signed the Bears corner Nashawn Wright for a cheap 1 year, $5 million. He was a ball hawk last year for the Bears. I think he had, I don't know the exact number of interceptions, but he had 3 or 4 interceptions, which is huge. He was a playmaker back there. He's a big guy, big length. He's got the length, the arm length. I think that's a pretty sneaky good signing for them. Uh, he doesn't fill the need that was left from Sauce Gardner, but it's a band-aid. Um, they signed Joseph Asai from the Bengals. I don't know why you'd want to get anybody from the Bengals, but they did.
Especially on the
They
defensive
brought
side.
back, yeah. So they brought back Demario Davis. So he went from the Jets to the Saints, and he's back with the Jets. He's an old guy. He will provide some leadership in that linebacker room that they don't have, so that could potentially be beneficial. Um, they signed Kingsley Angbar from the Packers, a defensive end. Like I said, they acquired Tavondre Sweat in the trade where with the Texans. They signed Falcons David Onyemata, defensive tackle, who will be pretty good, but he's not going to fill the void left by Quinnen Williams. Um, it's a band-aid, like I said. They brought in guard Dylan Parham and they signed a kicker. So uh, they re-signed their safety Andre Cisco, running back Kenyon Ngwei. Uh, all these guys got weird names. Offensive tackle Chikwuna Okofor.
Well,
Uh,
you'd knock him out because Larry definitely can't pronounce them. So,
yeah, Larry's pretty bad. And
well, if
one of
he's
the big
ever
things
has to go
is,
to Hawaii, he's screwed. They're not going to know who the hell he's
Yes.
talking about.
yeah,
No.
yeah. One of the big things is they did place the franchise tag on Brees Hall. I know there was talks last year of them potentially trading him away, but it looks like they're going to try and keep him around. He's kind of a focus with that offense. I think his fantasy value is going to increase with Geno Smith. Uh, I don't think it could get any worse. Justin Fields could hardly compete a class. I know the run game. I think the offense overall will improve with Geno Smith on Justin Fields was terrible. So some of the guys they did lose, like I said, Justin Fields, they traded him away. One of the big guys, they lost both their guards. Elijah Vera Tucker, he went he went over to New England. He signed a 3 year deal. He was a first round guard that they drafted who was pretty good. He struggled to stay healthy, so I think that's why they opted of re-signing him. They also John Simpson, who was formerly of the Baltimore Ravens, came over, signed with the Jets for a couple years. Then he went back to Baltimore this year. So Quinnen Williams' brother, the linebacker, left in free agency. He went to the Browns. Like I said, Jermaine Johnson, one of their better, probably he might not be the best defensive end they had, but he was really good. He got traded. They lost one of their safeties, Tony Adams, and they lost a receiver that they traded for. John Mechie III, who they traded for from the Texans. So, um, based on performance last year and that what they've done, I think they're competing for the number one pick. So they're either going to finish third in the division or fourth in the division. They're either going to finish with the number one pick or the second pick. So we'll see how that plays out. This team is not good. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
that was a lot of talk about a team that's going to finish last. So they suck.
You just
The
said the
division
Dolphins
sucks.
were.
Well, they're both going to be the bottom at the bottom. So that's why I kept it short and sweet with the Dolphins.
Okay, okay.
Hey, those games might actually be fun to watch. Two shit teams playing against
Ron,
each
I
other
think you
twice
should
a
take
year
him
for the number
in
one
the
pick.
fantasy championship. Take one of those defenses, and
Hey, if they draft the right people, I just might.
so I mean, I'll flip the script again. Geno Smith, Garrett Wilson is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. He has never had a quarterback as good as Geno Smith. So here we go. This is a breakout season for Garrett Wilson. Brees Hall got the franchise tag. Dude was a top 3 running back not so long ago. What, 3 years ago? Um, One of the top picks in most fantasy drafts. So they have some
3
talent over
years for
there,
running
and,
backs.
and
Age.
now they have the QB to take them to the promised land. So I mean, who knows what's possible? They got Minka from the Dolphins, and they play in a dog shit division. So who knows? Maybe they're going to be in the Super Bowl this year with Geno. Maybe he really will take them to the promised land. Uh, no, they're not. I mean, they got a lot of draft picks. They're gonna win some games maybe at the end of the year. Ron will pick them up week 15, week 16, and maybe win the consolation bracket or something like that. But I mean, I they're going to be picking in the top 5. So that's my thought.
You gotta use your waivers on defense. Never draft a defense. That is stupid. Use your waivers, pick them up. That's how you win championships, baby.
That kickers.
Yeah. Never draft a kicker or defense in fantasy. That's how you win.
I don't want to hear your bullshit.
That should have been
Well,
that's my last best take.
That was it was a great take. But if you stayed on, appreciate you guys. Let us know. Help.
Did we get all the teams?
I think
yeah,
so.
we got them all.
I mean,
Okay.
some of the teams we didn't
You
even
guys did
talk
your
about.
teams. I did too. So
But we appreciate you listening. If there's anybody out there that can help Larry pronounce some of the Samoan, Hawaiian, Tongan people, please let us know. He needs some help. Um, but I appreciate it. Like Ron says, like us, share us, comment. Let us know what comment pissed you off the most. So,
Yep. Reach out, please. We could use it. Thanks.
yep.
Uh,
Yep.
Take
Definitely
care.
subscribe to we're on all the platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. But we really want our YouTube channel to grow. So
we
like, share,
yep,
subscribe.
they get posted by Sunday night, Monday morning at the latest. So you can check the platforms those times to listen to us murder people's names. So, anyone's got anything else? Otherwise, see you next time.